Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is another Lunch with Lisa. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day, and I am so happy to be here with you. It's a lovely day in Santa Fe. My husband Benjamin and I are very, very excited because we have a retreat, our first live retreat coming up at the end of this month. We have about 20 women coming to Santa Fe to do a wonderful live workshop. They're women who have gone through my 12-week emotionally naked dating coaching program. You can check that out if you'd like to. You just go to lisashield.com and you can watch my free 45-minute presentation. You can also look at my praise page, and we should be posting a redesign of this website in the next couple of months. So it will also have all of my programs and courses. They aren't there right now, but if you are looking for a solution and you just want to find true love now, please go check me out. And if you like what you see, we can jump on a call together. So today I want to talk about something that came up recently with a friend. And I think that this is something, this kind of behavior that I'm about to describe really does sabotage our relationships. And so many, many of us do this. And I think it's just detrimental to intimacy and creating loving, lasting relationships. And this behavior causes us to sabotage so many relationships before they even have a chance to get off the ground. So what happens is very, very often something will happen, we'll get upset, and then we'll speak our truth to the person about what was upsetting for us. And when we do that, we'll speak our truth. We'll tell that guy how he disappointed us or let us down or what, our friend did wrong. And then we close the door. We speak our truth and then we close the door. We don't give them a chance to respond. We're so hurt. We're so angry. We're so disappointed that we just shut the door and walk away. And this happened to me recently with both with an assistant that I had for 3.5 years, my assistant, who I loved and adored and truly valued and appreciated. She was harboring some feelings. She was upset about the workload that I was giving her. She works virtually, so I had no idea that it was too much for her. And then rather than letting me know what was going on with her, she just snapped at me like the first thing that just, the straw that broke the camel's back. She snapped at me and she said, "I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice." And this was and didn't give me an opportunity to even work through this with her. She just out of the blue came at me and said, "This is what you did." She was in tears. There was a lot of, there were some hysterics with this, didn't even, give me a chance to respond to her and to apologize and to try to work this out with her. She just said, "Here's my 2 weeks notice." And this was a 3.5 year relationship. I also recently had an incident like this with another friend. My husband and I are planning a party. We have a lot of people who are coming. I was talking about this event that we're having. We're juggling a lot of balls. I mean, I don't know if any of you have ever put on a live event, but I cannot begin to tell you how many details there are, how much work it is. And we're just doing the best we can. And then add COVID on top of that. We're trying to make it safe for everybody and equitable and fair for, people who are vaccinated and unvaccinated. And we're just trying to factor in everyone and everything. And, one friend got upset about something, and then sent me a message, very upset, and explained her upset, and then just said, I'm not going to come to the event. And I read what she had written, and look, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, but it's not a matter of right and wrong. To me, the relationship is way more important than anything that happened. And so, I wrote back and I just said, look, please come. I understand where you're coming from. We just are juggling so many things. We're trying to make this fair. Please understand that this is where I was coming from. And I hope that you will rethink this and come. And I followed up with a phone call. So far, I haven't heard anything. I hope I do. I hope she does reconsider. It would be really sad if she doesn't attend, over a misunderstanding. But this is what we do. We get our feelings hurt. Something happens, our feelings get hurt, and then we may speak our truth. We may, come in and say, this is what you did, and this is why I'm hurt. But then we shut the door and we don't leave that door open for discussion. And back to dating and relationships, because that's really, what these talks are about. This is something I know I did all the time with men, right? I was walking on eggshells anyway because I was so afraid of rejection and getting hurt that I was already, guarded and afraid. And then a man would do something. Maybe he'd say, hey, maybe we can get together this weekend or on Saturday. And then he wouldn't follow through. And instead of just writing him and saying, hey, I thought we were, you had mentioned getting together on Saturday. I haven't heard from you, what's up? And, I just wanted to double check with you and see if we're still on, instead of saying, waiting until after the fact and then saying, you told me we were going to get together on Saturday. And then, I kept Saturday free and I never heard from you. And, that's not what I'm looking for. Right? This is what so many of us do. We just wait, we don't say anything, and then we get upset and we just slam the door and we close it. Something I know from talking to a lot of men about situations like this is that men do not have rules in the same way that women do. Most men do not have rigid rules when it comes to certain, things about dating, like who calls whom and when and why. And, I know you hear from a lot of love coaches, male and female, that, you got to let a man initiate, and you can't, you got to sit back and lean in and whatever the hell they say, which is ridiculous. If a man says to you, hey, let's try to get together on Saturday, you have to keep in mind that the word try to doesn't mean we're going to. So sometimes somebody feels that it's kind of open. A guy may think it's kind of a casual arrangement and he's not sure. So he's saying maybe, or let's try to, or I would like to, but it's not a firm date. And so in instances like that, one of my clients, Linny, who is in my mastermind group, she's like a dating machine right now. One of the things about being in this mastermind group with my husband and me is that we call these women out. She was not dating. I called her out, and now she's like a dating maniac. But on the weekend, she had a couple of situations where one guy didn't follow through and another guy had a plan, but then he changed it. And instead of coming closer to where she was, he wanted her to meet him halfway. And she was having to Uber that day, and it would have just been way too costly for her to Uber all the way over to where he was. And so he said, well, let's plan for another date. And then he didn't respond. Well, one of the things that she learned was, she said, Lisa, if a guy says, well, let's get together on Saturday, then she should lock it in right then and there, not play it by ear, but lock it in and say, great, Saturday sounds great. When and where should we meet? What time and what place? So that she'll be more proactive at just getting that locked in. And it's not nebulous, right? It's not like let's try to or maybe or whatever, but they have an actual firm set date, and that she wants to get clear on that right then and there on that initial call or when they're texting about setting up the date for Saturday. So lock it in, ladies. But back to what I was sharing before, you have a phone, you can text a guy if you haven't heard from him. Some guys may be blowing you off, but other guys may feel like, hey, we set a date and I don't need to reconfirm that date. I already told her I was coming. We're going to do this Saturday date. And if you like to have things firmed up the day before, write to the guy and say, hey, I just want to double check with you and make sure that we're on, and set a time and place so that, I know what to expect. So take matters into your own hands. Once a guy has suggested that you get together, make sure that you get clear and don't sit around and just let it be nebulous. Make sure that you get clarity and that you lock it in. Your time is important and people get busy. These guys, just like you, should be dating several people at once in the beginning until you are on, really sure that you're in a committed relationship with someone. You really want to make sure you get the answers that you need, because your time is valuable. Most of us have very little free time to actually go out on dates. So Lisa Cohen, one of our listeners, said, I had a second date with a man on Saturday and we were supposed to touch base Friday evening. I thought he was going to call me and he thought I was going to call him. It was a miscommunication. And I mentioned that I don't have to be right. And we had a great time Saturday. Beautiful, Lisa. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I want to share one of my clients. This was a long, long time ago. She went on, she was having a very difficult time getting to a second date. And I thought that it was that the guys weren't asking her out on a second date. But the truth was that it was her. She didn't want to go on second dates with these guys. And the reason why was because she would, she would harbor certain feelings and then not express them to the guys and get upset or didn't like something or whatever. And then she would write the guys off. So she came to a session and she met this guy, this British guy, and she was telling me about the date. And I said, well, he sounds like a nice guy. Are you going to go out with him again? And she said, no. And I was stunned. And I said, well, why not? And she said, because he corrected my English several times on the date. And that was really awkward. And I said to her, well, did you say something? And she said, well, no, like I barely know him. And, why he's going to think I'm too complicated or whatever. And I said, well, you got to let him know. Like, you can't just keep walking away from one guy after another. You have to say something. So we practiced how to say it. And then at the very end, she was going to then cut it off. She was going to say what she wanted to say. And then, like, this is why I don't want to see you again. And I said to her, you've got to give him a chance to respond. Like, this is how you do it. You plant seeds and you say, look, I had a lovely time. And there was something I wanted to share with you that happened. I don't know if you realize you were doing this, but you corrected my English several times when we were on the date, and it felt very uncomfortable to me, and then, you put another compliment at the end, and I really, I like you, and I just thought I would share that. And instead of just kind of like being like, yeah, I didn't like that, and that's why I don't want to, why I'm ending this, but leaving it open for him to respond. And what happened was the guy said to her, oh my God, did I really do that? And he said, I am so embarrassed. And she said, well, yeah, you did. It was really weird. And she said, I started to really measure my words and it felt awkward. And he said, please, if I ever do that again, please tell me, let me know, because that's a horrible thing to do. And after that, they started dating. It opened up a door for the two of them to date. And when I asked her later, I said, how did it go? She said, Lisa, it was really transformational, because normally I would have just shut the door and walked away. And she said, when he heard me and he responded in the way that he did, it actually made me feel closer to him. It actually opened up more intimacy, right? Because I felt closer. I felt like I could express myself and tell a man what I needed and allow him to then apologize and show up and whatever. And they actually went on to date. I don't know, because I stopped coaching with her. She stopped coaching. They got into a relationship. So I don't know what happened after that. But I do know that it opened up a door for her, and she started to be able to understand how to express her feelings and also leave the door open, right? Allow someone to then say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that, or thank you for telling me how you felt. What's so important to understand is that we cannot make assumptions. We don't know what's happening on the other side. And in dating, we carry so much hurt, so much baggage from our past relationships, from all the times that we tried to ask for what we wanted and needed in a relationship, and people didn't hear us, or they didn't give us what we really wanted. And so we see that door, that door has been slammed before in our face when we've spoken up. And we close doors so quickly. And I see it all the time with the women who are in my coaching program. A lot of times we just get into this sort of, inner monologue, right? It becomes very one-sided. Somebody does something that we don't like, or they disappoint us, a guy disappoints us, and then we have a very one-sided, this doesn't work for me, this is unacceptable, I don't behave that way, and I expect a man to behave this way with me, and if he were really serious about me, he would do X, Y, and Z. And we have this whole unilateral, make this unilateral decision about what's happening on the other side, and we never share it with the other person. We just put up our walls, we add, layer upon layer, but we never even take the time to express to the other person how we feel. Or if we do it in anger, we do it, and then we slam that door. And a relationship that could have been beautiful, that may have been amazing, we just, take it and like we're out walking in nature and we see a bug and we just step on it, and it's dead. Like we just crush it. because we never give it a chance, an opportunity. One of my lovely, lovely clients, Rebecca, who is coming to Santa Fe for this retreat I spoke of in uh, in the beginning. This lovely client who I so adore. She was dating a man, Sam, and in the very, very beginning, Sam actually missed several phone calls that they had planned. He was out of town. He was doing, I think, visiting family during the pandemic, and they had set up a couple of times for phone calls. And I think once he fell asleep and he missed the call. And she just very graciously said, let that go. Oh, I thought we had a call scheduled. And he said, oh my goodness, I fell asleep. I was working late and I apologize. And then it happened, I think at least one other time. And eventually she just said, Sam, something that is really a turn on to me is when a man follows through. If we set a date, that he makes the date. That's really what I admire and respect and what I'm looking for in a man. And so that really spoke to him. First of all, it wasn't really in his nature to just blow things off. And it was an unusual coincidence that this had happened a couple of times with her. But she said it in such a lovely way that it really sparked something inside of him. And what happened was he was supposed to get a plane back to Los Angeles, and they were going to have a date, I think that night or the following day. And something happened. Either he got the day wrong or the flight was canceled, but he didn't want to miss another date with her. So he rented a car, drove all the way to another city to get a plane out that same day so that he could make his date with her. And they are together. He just proposed to her out of the blue. And they really are just this darling, darling couple, just this darling couple. And that would have never happened if Rebecca had gotten upset with him and closed the door. I actually did this once with a girlfriend of mine who, this is quite a story. We had lived across from each other in an apartment building, and then I moved out. I met my husband. We moved in together, and I really felt like the friendship was drifting away. And it was a heartbreak to me because I really, really loved her. And I sent her a message, and the message was like, I feel like I'm putting a lot more energy into this relationship than you are. I feel like I'm taking all the initiative. And, it breaks my heart, but I guess, this friendship just, I guess it doesn't mean as much as to you as it means to me. And it really had kind of, I wish you all the best and all. And the truth was, I was writing her off. And I didn't even realize in the message how that would have sounded. And she wrote back to me and she said, gosh, I'm so sorry. And I value the friendship. And I'm really, really sorry that it hasn't felt like I've been prioritizing it. And she said, it sounds like, you just want to end our friendship. And she said, I hope that that's not the case. And I heard what she said, and thank God. I just said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I adore you, and no, 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 I don't want to end the friendship. I want this friend. You really matter to me." And it wasn't that too many years later when this very dear friend of mine got liver cancer and died. So I'm so glad that didn't happen, because that would have been, a heartbreak for me. So, really the loss of somebody very, very dear, and something I could never have gone back and repaired. And if she hadn't spoken up and said, hey, wait a minute, give me a chance to just correct this and please don't close the door on us, right? Now, in dating, most men are not going to do that. They're going to walk away. They're going to say, wow, this woman is too tough and, she's got rigid rules. And I want a woman where, hey, if I make a mistake, she is forgiving and she's kind and she doesn't come down on me like a sledgehammer, So I think that this is such a wonderful thing for all of us to start, to really pay attention to. When somebody that you're dating or that you're getting to know makes a mistake, take a deep breath and just say, hey, I don't know what's going on the other side. I don't know what's happening in this person's life. I have every right to express how I feel and, give voice to, speak my truth and say, hey, this was my experience. But please don't just slam the door. Give the other person the opportunity to say, I'm sorry, or I didn't know that we had set a firm plan, or I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding. Can we make another date or set another time, and let's just give me a chance, to make this up to you, but give people a chance. Don't let anyone walk all over you, but anyone can mess up once or twice. So don't be so quick, to tell somebody, hey, I was just, don't use the word disappointed with men. Don't say to a man, I was disappointed when you didn't, call me on Friday. I thought we were getting together. Just say, hey, I thought that we were getting together on Friday, and did something come up or was there a misunderstanding? I'd love to know, because I remember us talking about getting together, and then see what he has to say. Give him a chance. Don't keep slamming doors. You're going to leave a lot of dead bodies if you do that, and you're going to kill a lot of relationships before they even have a chance to get started. I am Lisa Shield, and this has been Lunch with Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up or a heart if you enjoyed today's talk. And also come back on Tuesday, tomorrow night. I do Live with Lisa. That is a 1-hour Q&A that starts at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. I also do my favorite one of all, which is called Getting Inside the Right Male Mind. That is with my husband, Benjamin Shield, who I adore. I think he has the most beautiful male mind I have ever explored. And also, please tell your friends. I have a podcast. It's called Dating Without Drama. We do 2 episodes every week. And finally, if you just want to find true love, if you want to stop wasting precious years of your life trying to figure this out on your own and you just want a solution, please go to lisashield.com. Click on the link to watch my 45-minute presentation. If you like what you hear, you can jump on a call with me or a member of my team so we can show you how we can help you get this solved now, so you don't have to go another day without love. I send love to you all. Please enjoy the rest of your day and come back again. Please, please, please come back again. It's so wonderful to see Cindy and Elena and Dawn and Lisa and my dear, dear friend Simone, who I love and adore, Siham and Leslie and Rhonda and Dalin, all of you beautiful women, and Lady Heba. Thank you all. I just adore you. I know many of you come back time and time again, and that really means the world to me. I know you have many things to do throughout your day and that time is precious. So thank you for spending a piece of your time and your life with me. Blessings to you all. Bye bye.